I think a lot of people think the world is an alien and rather frightening place. I could even say that perhaps the kind of reporting I've done has reinforced that, having been to quite a lot of the difficult, violent, and sometimes rather risky situations, which I'm afraid human life throws up. But I take the opposite view. Even in the worst of situations, people show extraordinary resources of concern, friendliness, and kindness. In the middle of a riot, someone will help you. In a strange place where you don't even know a word of language, a kind person will give you a helping hand. I'm an optimist, but I'm someone who believes that there's more good than bad in the world.
That's very refreshing to hear, especially these days with every single thing you ever hear is a down and about ghastliness and horrible people.
One of the biggest stories I did was a massacre where an army opened fire on unarmed people, students and ordinary citizens, without good reason, purely because the old regime disliked protest. Mm-hmm. And terrible things happened on the night in June. I was there as a reporter alongside a lot of others, but the night it happened, the midnight when the tanks came in, we went out, my crew and I, and we saw people shot round us. How we weren't shot is a matter of pure luck. And time and again, people grabbed hold of our arm, waved to us, beckoned, hid us behind a wall, shouted warnings, which we didn't understand, but knew the secret police were after us, or there was a tank coming. And these people shielded us, helped us, and on 2 occasions actually beat off the police from attacking us and taking our cameras. I owe my lives to these unknown people. I mean, that is the extreme of kindness. So you get this kind of behaviour, and it's happened to me in all the worst of places.
So give us another example of some kindness of strangers during your career.
I was in the Gulf War. I was with 48,000 men of 7th Armoured Brigade and the British Army in the middle of a desert, and I was the only woman. And they were great towards me, tolerating the only woman who was in the frontline troops. And there was a lot of pressure and a lot of extraordinarily vicious, misogynistic press at home about what's that woman doing there. So I felt quite a lot of responsibility. I found myself in a tent one day and they were throwing gas at us. And I was very bothered. And an older officer came up to me and he just said very quietly, "Don't worry, we'll get you through it. You're not going to fail. We're going to make sure you can do it." It was wonderful. It was just what I needed. I thought, I'm not on my own. I'm not. And it was wonderful. And it's that sort of little remark that got me through.
Fantastic.
And another moment I remember. At 3 one morning, I was in Belfast during a major riot during the Troubles. And there was everything coming down the road. Sticks, rocks, bricks, rubber bullets. And everybody was very bad-tempered. And I stepped backwards and I fell in a hedge in the dark. And never fall in a privet hedge in the dark because you can't get out. I completely panicked and I entwined with the privet hedge and was stuck there. And I heard a window above me, above the sound of everything that was going on, squeak open. And there was a habit sometimes of attacking people by pouring boiling water on them. That happened sometimes in the midst of trouble, and I thought, what next? I was frozen, and a voice from the window said, "You stand there. You want a cup of tea?"
Have you encountered the kindness of strangers outside your professional life?
If a correspondent is resident in a particular country for a long time, they become much more conscious of what everyday life is like, and that people are just like them, have trouble paying their bills, complain about the bus service, and cannot get through the bureaucracy of their government. We all go through so many of the same things, and underneath the weirdness, the difference, the language, the climate, all of this, there's a very common thread, and often it's kindness.
That's so lovely to hear. And tell me, since writing that book, is your optimism still there? Do you still feel that you are surrounded by the kindness of strangers, or do you have a pessimism about the way that mankind is going in their relationships with each other?
I'm afraid I have a hard-headed historical view of that, and that is that war and conflict have been part of humankind and nature. There are major wars and territorial battles happen with almost every creature that's on this earth. So you have to be an optimist that we can find a way through it. I'm not a pessimist about it. I'm still very hopeful. I'm aware that smart philosophers will tell you today that the idea of us all getting more tolerant is probably not entirely natural, that we go 2 steps forward and 1 step back. If you look back 2,000 years and more, you hope that we have the brains and education and technology now to keep it getting better for the large number of people. But you've got to have your fingers crossed and you've got to work at it.
Well, on that optimistic and kind note, Kate Adie, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.